You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/day to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/day for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Hey everybody, this is Aaron with Star Wars Reactions. The episode you're about to listen to is our live coverage from Ocala Comic Con from this past weekend. We had a blast. Just wanted to hop on beforehand though and let you know there are some slight audio distortions through there that we couldn't help. Unfortunately, it's just part of doing a live recording when you're out and about. You don't realize what's going on until you're going back listening through it. So I apologize for that. Hope you enjoy our coverage of Ocala Comic Con 2025.
This is Vanessa Marshall, the voice of Harrison Dula. We have hope. Hope that things will get better, and they will. Especially if you listen to the Star Wars Reactions podcast with Aaron and David. May the Force be with you always.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
In 1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of it.
One of resistance,
We are a spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
rebellion,
Rebellion is built on hope.
and redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
All right, everybody. We are here live on location in a hotel room. Welcome to Reactions After Dark. Just kidding. We're not. We're sitting here. We're going to recap our day one at Ocala Comic Con here in the lovely city of Ocala, Florida. David Motter's backyard. So we got all-star panel for you. It's me and David. And just kidding. It's me, David, and Greg McLaughlin from the Rebel Base Guard who flew in for the fun today. So let's go have at it. It has been a long and it has been a fun day. It's been longer for some of us who had to fight planes to get here too. And some of us had to drive a little further. You had to drive and fly, Greg. So it's been a longer day for you, but let's talk about it. I'll start with you, David. Let's talk about your first day. How did you feel your first day at Ocala Comic Con 2025 went?
Oh, this was incredible. We did this 2 years ago. We were hoping that you would be up for this in 2023. We weren't able. It didn't work out, but Mary and Chaz got here, and there was a bit of a Star Wars presence. We talked about Sam Witwer being here. He did a panel. That was about it, although we had the people from Jedi Fallen Order, Cameron Monaghan and the person who played Marin, but nothing like this. And this blew the doors off. Everything that we did today, how much we talked to Star Wars voice actors and celebrities was just incredible. And we can run through that, but also, like you'd hinted at, it was probably just capped off because you got Mary and Chaz coming out, but then Greg coming down from the greater Chicagoland area, which was awesome. And we were so hoping you'd get down here, buddy. So,
Well, absolutely. It was great seeing everybody. That's one great thing about doing these conventions and being with people is being with the people, being with our friends and seeing people that we don't get to see all the time. And extra special, Greg, because you flew in and joined us from the Great White North and and came down to our lovely overheated Florida sunshine. So welcome to Florida, my friend. How was your day?
No, thank you. And it's kind of funny because like most people, when you say, if you're down here, we lived down here for a time, a couple of years, many years ago, and so you find that there are transplants, and there are very few actual like native Floridians. But it was kind of fun to come back, fly through Tampa, and get on 275 and 75. When we lived here, we lived off of 275 in St. Pete. But I think that there was a couple things. One is my wife works for an airline, and so we're blessed with standby flights, but it's still it's availability, and things have to line up. And so this morning it lined up that I was able to get down, and I had a car, and then was able to catch kind of the second half of it. But what I caught here was really amazing, and I think the thing that makes these kind of cons great are the fact that you're smaller to mid-size shows. One, there was a huge lineup, but given its proximity, given where it's at, there's a lot, and you guys will talk about it, a lot of chances for really incredible interactions that you're not going to get at a larger show like a C2 or a San Diego Comic Con or, these bigger ones. And so, although the prices I think have started to rise across, I think, you got to really pick your spots, but I do think that what you're getting value wise is so much more. And then of course, knowing that you guys would be here, that Mary and Chaz would be here, and you're like, all right, this is a great chance, because normally we only see each other from the Zoom up, right? And so it's just really nice where you get to see a full figured Aaron and David, and then the only thing I'm worried about tonight is I've got the rollaway here, but as Major League was on TV, I'll just finish this real quick. I half expect to see my bet out by the track, like Willie Mays Hayes in Major League. I expect to wake up in the morning going, "Dang, I got cut already." Anyway.
Well, I gotta say, you're the first person I've ever said it was fun to be on 275 and 75 again, because those roads are never fun. Being down here, but yeah, I mean, for me, I got to throw it out there. It was a great day. And I've talked to you, Greg, and to you, David, and Mary and Chaz too, and was communicating with them throughout the day. And today was so much fun. It was such a relief. This is the first time I've seen you, David, face to face, and you too, Greg, since everything transpired in March and April and May, and the passing with my mom getting sick and passing, and it has been a struggle of a year. So doing this weekend and today has been, like I told you, I was very therapeutic for me to get out here and just have some fun and see things and really get carefree, literally, and have blow off some steam, have some fun, have some great interactions with friends, but also with Star Wars celebrities. Because, like you said, David, we have a full lineup of Star Wars celebrities here today. This is, you look at Comic Cons and they usually have a mix of people from all different parts of different fandoms and everything, but this is really a small Star Wars convention.
It was.
Because you have Manny Jacinto from the Acolyte that's here. You had Tate Fletcher from the Mandalorian. You have Emily Swallows from the Mandalorian. You have Katie Sackhoff from the Mandalorian and Battlestar Galactica. You have, and of course, if you're a fan of Big Bang Theory, she was in a nice little episode there, which I loved. Then there you had, of course, your Rebels reunion. Steve Bloom is here. Vanessa Marshall, Taylor Gray, Tia Serkar. So it was such a great Star Wars presence here at the con, and we were able to attend several. I know you got here a little later in the day, so you missed the Mandalorian panel, which we got to see with Emily and Katie, which Tate Fletcher flew in late. We were actually joking around, Craig, because he was supposed to, they posted online, he should be here around 3. Then you were like, I'm going to be here around 3. We're like, he's going to roll in with Tate Fletcher, isn't he?
That's what we're saying. He gave him a ride.
He gave him a ride.
He gave Tate Fletcher a ride.
Going to roll in with Tate. But we got to experience that panel, which was great. Then, of course, the Rebels panel and the Q&A with Manny Jacinto. So it was all around just a fantastic day. I know you had the shorter day at the con compared to the rest of us, but for your day here, what was your favorite part of the day that you got to see and be a part of at this convention so far?
Well, having done, I went to Huntsville and hung out with the Molders, Frank and Amy, a couple years ago at Huntsville Expo. And that I wasn't intending on getting there that late, but I ended up getting there with about an hour left. And so I was able to kind of case the floor a little bit, but I ended up having a great little moment with Dr. Pershing, because much like here, the tables where you go and get autographs, I mean, they were even closer than what they were here. Okay. And so when I was kind of walking around, he's kind of like by himself, and it's one of those things where you want to respect the table. You're like, all right, I know that you have prices for autographs and stuff, but most times I think they'd be fine. And I just said, hey, I just want to let you know you're awesome in Dr. Perry level of this, and because we kind of locked eyes, and I just felt I have to say something, and I was like, well, that's great. That was a perfect thing that I wouldn't have gotten at a bigger con. I wouldn't But that's what I kind of liked here is like one, being able to see, like we got to see a couple years ago in Nashville at ICCC, they had a Rebels reunion panel. Okay. And it was, a much larger deal, but it was still great to see them all out there. But to have that plus Manny Jacinto to see it, because normally when I go, I don't really have time for panels, but it was nice to kind of see it and you go, oh, this is great. And then really having kind of been towards the end of the con season, I'm like, I've kind of gotten my fill of any of the figures or any of the doodads. I'm here to see people, and anything else is gravy. But I would say one of the things was just that whole one side was all dioramas by the droid builders and the 501st and the Rebel Legion. I mean, that was huge. I know that at C2 they have like the family zone of the 501st and company usually have a great display there, but this one was huge. And so there were several opportunities and like I was getting into in some of the recordings I did where, basically David was flagging people down to take our pictures in front of this and that. I was telling him, like, yeah, show a little knee, man. You'll get somebody come up right away. And
he did too. He hyped up that short leg.
It worked.
Next thing I know, we had 3 people offering to take our photos.
I'm telling you, you just gotta the right methods to do it. But I would say, once, and then when Mary and Chaz came up from the Steve Bloom marathon session, I think they were airlifted supplies at one point for the amount of time they spent in line. I don't think West Berlin was as well fortified as these folks in line. That's okay. That's an old comment, but
you just aged yourself, my friend.
The West Berlin airlift that's about what the line was today for Steve Bloom. I don't think he saw daylight until the very end, but once everybody was together and we kind of realized, like, wow, this is great. Yeah. But that was kind of the favorite thing. And during the Rebels panel, just briefly, I got in behind, and so you guys were watching, and the seat behind you opened up, and I was kind of sitting there watching, and I got this great selfie. I'm like, shh, don't tell anybody. And I was waiting for somebody because I was trying to text David, and then later on you were saying, like, he doesn't check his phone that well. I'm like, okay, I took the wrong person. I was waiting for somebody to turn around and go, hi, anyway.
You're a sneaky outfit, man. I was mesmerized by the panel. I mean, like, from the last time we did a big Rebels panel was 2017 where they were all up there.
They told us it was canceled.
Yes, exactly. So it was so nice to see them back. But to piggyback off yours, Greg, I was thinking about it was so neat to see all these Rebels people. We started with Rebels reactions on Coffee with Kenobi and have gone from there. So that holds a special place in our heart. But I really think that Greg has said this a lot on the Rebel Base Card podcast about different size cons, but he just mentioned it. But what we were able to do today with this size con, it's not happening like you said at C2. It's not happening at Celebration. But the time, for me, it was a joy to watch Aaron interact with Vanessa Marshall, Tia Sircar, Taylor Gray. He snuck over.
I did sneak
he got a Katie Sackhoff. I was actually following Greg on that one because Greg was doing meeting Vanessa Marshall and getting his stuff with her at that time, and so me and Chaz and Mary were with him. Like, where's Aaron? And of course he's over hanging out with Bo-Katan. And so I don't know what's going on, and he knows what he's doing. So, but I think that was the joy though, is seeing you, because the time that they took when you talked to them about some of the stuff that you were talking about with them, and the Pod of Rebellion, which I got to jump into and watch all that. That was a joy for me to see you with all the Rebels, voice actors and stuff like that. And so hopefully we'll be able to do the same thing. I don't think we won't be able to get that time with Steve Bloom just because of the length of his. Him and Katie Sackhoff were the two longest lines, no question. But that was the most
in the afternoon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that was the most joy, was seeing that and how they really wanted to talk with you.
Yeah.
And Vanessa knew you. Like I'll say this, I want to put this on here. There's several times where we were waiting in line to get up to Vanessa. Actually, I think were we at Taylor first?
We were at Taylor's first.
We were in Taylor, and then I kept looking over, and she was looking at Aaron. So she knew him from Star Wars weekends from, 2014, 2015. Yeah. So she absolutely remembered him, and that was a lot of fun. But so that was my biggest joy, was.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/day to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/day for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Was watching you interact with all the Rebels.
Yeah, that was something special for me, because you mentioned Pod of Rebellion and everything that's there. If you aren't familiar with that, that is another podcast that Vanessa Marshall, Tia Sircar, Taylor Gray, and some other guy. I can't remember his name.
I don't know who the host is. Yeah.
They do this they do this podcast. Basically, they're doing a Rebels rewatch podcast, and for some of them, they hadn't watched these up. They made them, but even Katie said during their show, she never watched Battlestar Galactica. And she's talking about doing a recast of that. But for Pod of Rebellion, it's those three watching Rebels and then talking about what they remember from the episode and making it. And it's a lot of fun. And so what was so special about this for me is, one, of course, if you've listened to the show anytime at all, I'm Rebels obsessed. I loved Rebels. And, if you've followed me for any time, I started podcasting with Rebels. I took over Rebels reactions for Dan and Corey at Coffee with Kenobi, and halfway through the couple episodes into the second season, and took off from there and hosted it till it ended. Had a fantastic time. So it's always meant a lot to me, because that's where I started, and it's just a show that connected with me. A lot of people were connect with Clone Wars because when it came out and they watched it from the beginning, and they have that special. For me, it's Rebels. And when they launched Pod of Rebellion, it launched while my mom was in the hospital. So I was commuting back and forth every morning, every evening, back and forth to the hospital while she was fighting. And as they would release their episodes, I'd listen from the beginning and got to listen. And it was a very, I used this word before, but it's the only way I can really say it, was a very therapeutic show for me, because it would take me out of where I was at that moment with dealing with everything and bring me back to something that, I love. I love Rebels. I still love Rebels. But that show helped, even though it wasn't, it was one episode every so often. It was something that really worked for me, and it helped me. And one of the many things that helped me get through, you, David, you, Greg, and Anthony King and Mary and everybody that jumped in and helped out and communicate. Daz would message me every so often from the UK, and we would, and just to check up. And then this family really got me through. And Pot of Rebellion, I got to say, is part of that, because they helped me as well. And one of my goals for this con, when I found out they were all coming, was to get with those three and thank them for it. And when I thank them for it, and then explain to them why, they were, of course, they were all taken back. But it, for like I think Taylor said it best. He goes, we sit here, we do this for fun, like we all do. We all podcast for fun, and you don't know who's going to listen. You don't know how it's going to be received. But then to hear a story like you've just shared, it means a lot, because it means that, it's not only people are listening, but it can actually bring people some sunshine in dark times, which is not what we intended, but it's what it's doing. And it meant a lot for them to hear that, as much as it meant for me to say it. So we had some there were some deeper discussions with them about that. I know, and y'all saw Tia just gave me the biggest hug. Taylor, after we took our selfie, he just, I didn't see that one coming. He blindsided me with that big old hug. And it felt good. It's the only word I keep coming up is therapeutic, which it was. And I meant this week, this day, this has meant an absolute ton to me. And you're right, I did slip off and steal Katie all to myself. Literally, I got done with Tia, was packing up my bag, putting my folder back in there, and I look up and y'all are all over at Vanessa again. And I'm looking down the row and I see Tate Fletcher there, because he hadn't been there all day. So I'm just going to scroll down and see what he's doing and how it. I get down there and he's got about 25 people in his line, and I'm looking at the sign and with the times and everything, and I'm looking at him, and I glance over and I'm like, there's only two people at Katie Sackhoff. Then I look behind the table and I'm like, well, there's the handler, and there's a security guard, but there's no Katie. So I'm like, are they done for the day? I scroll down there and just to peek, and I turn around, look, and I still see David. You pick David out of a crowd in this arena. So I see David still down at Vanessa with Greg, and I knew where David was. There would be Greg, Mary, and Chaz also. And so I just move on down, and I stand at the sign, checking out Katie's times. I'm like, no, she's signing till 6. And I look up, and I'm watching, and they're all just standing there, and all of a sudden, through the curtain, boom, there's Katie Sackhoff. And I went, crap.
I gotta get the autograph now.
Photo. I turn and look down the way, and if you check your phone, I texted you and said, I'm at Katie's.
I didn't check.
If you there should be a text.
I saw it.
Says, I'm at Katie's. And so I'm like, I got to do this. So I got up, and then I got up there, and then I had the impossible task of picking a picture, which I did pick one, and then just had a nice little chit chat with Katie, and she signed a photo, asked about the con. I was enjoying the con, asked how she was enjoying Ocala. And then we took our picture, and that was it. Then I came walking back down the way, and y'all look at me. And David's like, "Where'd you go?" And I'm like, "I was naughty."
No,
I was naughty, and it was fun. It was fun. It's overall, it was just a fantastic day, quite enjoyable, and I had fun.
Well, one thing I think you bring up is I think so for like we know that the autographs and the pictures and all that they're not cheap. You save up and you're like you're gonna take it from your payday or whatever. But I think if you're going in with the right expectations, and especially with something like this where you can kind of pick your spots, right? So I mean, like here it was fairly clear. You had Steve Bloom and Steve Bloom Nation is over on the one corner,
literally,
and everybody else is kind of open up. And I think that if we're going to a celebration, if we're going to go like there's one thing where if you're going to go get Ewan McGregor, and you're gonna pay that kind of money, it's like that what kind of experience you're gonna get, and I like Greg and Amy have talked about like trying to come up with something to make that interaction go as long as possible. But I would say that if I had the option of getting, let's just say, an $80 Manny auto at Fan Expo versus like somewhere where like here, I'm gonna go to a smaller con because it's gonna be the pressure is gonna be a little off. I'm going to get a little more out of it. And, we kind of bring in, you bring in your expectations of what are you expecting? And that's just something I'd love to have David elaborate on where, and so in this case where, I was like, well, I knew that a couple of them were going to offer audio. I'm like, you know what? I did this with Femi Taylor at ICCC. I'm like, you know what? I'll either have Tia or Vanessa do an audio drop. That'd be fun because that way, sometimes the pictures go in the books and you don't see them again. The cards can go in the books, but the audio, I'm like, I can bring that up every now and then if I have an episode, and it's kind of fun because it's a great reminder of. But in this case, it was towards the end of the day. I went there and was able to talk to her a little bit about before it. I'd kind of prepped, not like. Kids, if you haven't listened to some of these drops these guys did today, they're insane. You're absolutely going to love it. I mean, I was happy with what I have these guys have. Chef's kiss. But that's also, it's nice where it's like, but this is something where you can do that at, and you can have a little time, and you can have those impromptu reactions where you can kind of go over and even just say hi. Like Manny Cincinto, I was just like, he was getting ready to pack him. I was like, hey, you were talking about, when you're kind of talking about like your favorite Filipino food, or they were talking about like representing, and my wife's Filipino, my kids are half Filipino, and it's like it meant a lot to me that you guys were up there. And I just wanted to say, I just wanted to say, I loved it when you were talking about synagogue, because I was like texting my wife going, he said synagogue, and he kind of laughed about it. And I'm like, I know that he's not like a huge talker, but it was fun. And there was that one question that kid asked about, and where he kind of was like, he was trying to come up with that movie, and some guy, and all of a sudden you could see where the lights clicked on and he was like really engaged. And so these little moments. But I'm like, when you're doing this and you're deciding like, hey, I want to go to a con to do a thing, to get a thing, think about the expectations of what you want. And sometimes traveling out of your way to get to a place would be like, it's not like these cats go all over the place. They're making the tours, and it's great because they also, not only do they get along, but they go all over the place. But it might be better to get a Vanessa Marshall, or to get a Katie Sackhoff at a place, just like when you met Emily Swallow earlier this year, where it's like they're just kind of being now. Obviously, and you better have enough battery to talk about the dinner, because that, kids, you got to wait around the podcast for this. But pick your spots is all I'm going to say, and I'm going to turn it back to David.
Well, no, you were talking about expectations. This exceeded them because, again, going back 2 years ago, Mary, Chaz, and I got in pretty quick, almost at the very beginning, and we went directly back to Sam Witwer. And Mary's been very clear about how different cons are run well, and some are not run well at all. And so my concern was, would Aaron and I have enough time to hit some of these? Although there's 2 days, that really helps. But because of the way it started, we got in, I think, just before Mary and Chaz, and I think they ran into a big rush that Aaron and I did not get. I think Aaron and I were here at 9:55, 10 o'clock. I think they got here 10:10, and Mary said it was kind of a mess for a little bit to get in, but we didn't have that. So we immediately come back and we have to talk about Nika Futterman, the voice of Asajj Ventress. And I already loved her before. After talking to her, again, Greg, expectations at a small con.
Yeah.
You know, here's what you can do, right? So she's got an autograph and selfie, did that, right? She did have a video option. Like some people don't do that, right? A video option.
Yeah.
But when Aaron was picking out his picture, I'd already gotten mine, and I'm talking to Nika Futterman. I said, can you do a little audio drop, like a little bumper for our podcast? She goes, absolutely. You know, and again, I don't know if at bigger cons they're gonna just kind of stick to it, but there's where she does something extra. It's just like I go back to Aaron. He gets the autograph and selfie, Vanessa Marshall, autograph, selfie with Taylor Gray, autograph and selfie with Tia Surkar. But all three of them spent more time with him after that.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, like when Aaron said more, and I kind of stepped back, he was talking privately with them, you know, but I'm just watching the whole thing. But that's the three of them spending extra time. And you can tell the concern and the care they have for him when he told them what kind of year it's been. And you're just like, I already love these people. And I love them even more now. But that kind of stuff, and Nika Futterman and what she did, I'm sure Aaron's going to put Vanessa Marshall's bumper in this one, probably Nika Futterman's in this one. But like Greg said, they were outstanding.
Yeah.
And so this first day has absolutely exceeded expectations. Again, these individuals don't have to do this.
No,
they don't have to do this. And they all took extra time or did extra stuff. And I'm just so impressed.
And on top of that, they've seen several people. I mean, many people throughout not as many as Steve Bloom. Steve Bloom has seen everybody. Everybody who paid admission today saw Steve Bloom.
Well, not everybody.
I haven't seen it yet. But
Tomorrow.
But towards the end of the day, right? You know, some of these people are tired. And one of the nice things about, you know, like the Rebels crew is like they've done enough of these that they've got their chops ready to go, and they're there, and they seem like they're having fun. And that's why I didn't want like with Vanessa Marshall, because I'm like, you know, she's a collector, she's a nerd like us, she's having fun, and you know, even her handler Molly was great.
Oh yeah,
because you know, just kind of talking with her, but you know, so it's sometimes at the end of the day, like you could be saving up for this and thinking that like, okay, end of the day it's gonna be quiet, and they just might be. But I think it's tough for them because they have to be on the entire time. Because if they let their guard down, somebody has a bad experience that's going to hit their bottom line, because they're going to go online and say like, man, this person was a blah, 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 blah. And they did. And, you know, so it's almost a can't win. But I do think if you go A, with expectations, and B, with a great attitude, like I do with gate agents. Can I get on your flight? Yes, great. Just be nice. Be kind. You know, like what the thing that Aaron says tells you every episode. Be kind. Because it's gonna come back at any rate. But that's, you know.
Yeah, and a perfect model of kindness and patience was Emily Swallows and Katie Sackhoff at dinner tonight. You brought that up. I got it. We got it. So we get back to the hotel after. We literally stayed at the con literally till they threw us out. Literally, if you listen to Greg's coverage on his show of the con, you'll hear them coming over the speaker saying, "Get out."
Well, even before that, 15-minute warning, 10 minute, 5 minute. Now it's get out.
Get out. Exit the building. So we get back to the hotel, and Mary and Chaz come with us. Greg's here, David and I. We go down to, what was the name of that place?
The Yellow Pony.
Yellow Pony. And this apparently is the horse capital of the world, according to David.
It is.
I still think it's like University of Central Florida claiming the national championship, but that's a discussion for another day. But we went to the Yellow Pony for dinner, the five of us, and we get a nice seat out on the patio. And by Jove, who is sitting in the corner across the patio? Emily Swallows and Katie Sackhoff. So we could say we actually had dinner with them.
Yes,
although
did.
we didn't get to talk to them, see what they were eating, or yeah. What did Ogo say? What you say is true from a certain point of view.
So we did.
We did
dinner.
We did. We had dinner with Katie Sackhoff and Emily Swallows tonight, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But picking your time, we're sitting there, and of course, we've been at the con all day. They have been at the con all day. We see them. We know exactly who they are, but we're not going to bother them. We're leaving them alone. We're letting them unwind. We're letting them veg. If they'd have been there when we left, we probably would have been like, waved. Yeah, they're catching up. They're talking. They're unwinding. They're probably sitting there going, oh my God, did you see that? No, just kidding. They were having fun. They were having a nice, relaxing evening. And next thing I know, and we're all sitting there. Next thing we know, this guy just walks up to the table and does not leave.
Brutal.
He's just standing there,
brutal,
talking, and they're sitting there looking up at him. And of course, you can tell they're being nice, they're being polite. Then after a while, you can see they're getting a little. This is you see Emily Swallows kind of got her hand on her face, like rubbing her temple, and of course I think Katie Sackhoff handled it the best. Her glass of wine went from full to empty in a matter of 2.5 minutes as she chugged the thing. We almost sent out new glasses over to him to help him, and we're sitting there going, we're sitting there like somebody needs to do something. And somebody did do something. His friend brought him 2 cups of beer. So now he's standing there,
right,
double fisting 2 cups of beer while talking to Emily and Katie. And I'm sitting there going, and we're all of us are sitting there. We're just dying inside. We're like, this is terrible.
To be fair, it could have been some. Now, early in the interaction, I thought it was somebody that was maybe a handler, an associate, someone that's been on a project. As it went going on, the percentage I'm seeing, like like a video game percentage of just dropping of that realize, like, I don't think that's. And then when you see his other friends standing there awkwardly waiting, you're going like, this is not a line to get to, like, this is not the evening, the evening session with Katie Sackhoff. This is not a panel. But at some point they finally did.
Yeah, he finally walked away with his beers
before it became a drinking game of, like,
exactly. and so our advice to you, wherever you are around the globe, if you go to a convention, then go to a hotel afterwards, and you happen to see somebody from the convention, a celebrity, having dinner, leave them alone. Let them unwind. They are just as tired and exhausted as you are. Be kind. Let that be your kind deed for the day. Leave them alone. Yeah. From the depths of my heart, please leave them, because I felt so bad for Emily and Katie.
It was painful to watch for a while.
It really was. It really was. But so we got a long day tomorrow too, because Greg, you're flying back out to back home tomorrow.
Yes.
And then David and I will be perusing day 2 of I almost said Central Florida Comic Con.
What panels are tomorrow?
Tomorrow there is a voice acting in video games panel with Vanessa Marshall, Steve Bloom, and somebody else. Is it Emily Swallows?
Oh, I think it is.
Is Emily Swallows, because she's done some video games. Then there is a Q&A with Steve Bloom. And then there was one more. Yes, a Q&A with Nika Futterman. And actually, I think that Nika Futterman is not Emily Swallows. It's Nika Futterman is the other one for the video game panel. And those are the 3 panels that we'll be going to. I don't. Is there any others tomorrow? I don't think there is.
Those are the biggies.
Those are the big panels. There's a couple of fan panels in a very small 3-row room. Well, it's not really even a room. It's more like 4 curtains and a door. But
one thing I do want to ask, for going tomorrow, right? So all these great interactions today, maybe David can speak to this as well. Is like, so what's going through your mind as we are? I mean, you'll be spending a decent amount of time there, and you can circle the floor. Maybe you'll do some shopping, but I am kind of curious how you go in, and then what happens. Do you almost not even go down to that section because we're on the high of highs, right? So we had this great interaction, and if you saw now not everybody can have the Ming Kui interaction that our friend Des Davies had, where she basically adopted him and took him home. But I am wondering, it's like, what are some of the things also that you're thinking in your mind tomorrow, because it's another day, it's a fuller day even with that, but what are some of the things that you would be looking forward to doing?
I'm really hoping that this can work out with Steve Bloom. I'd love to see Aaron be able to interact with him, really make it a 4 for 4. I mean, he seems so fun at the panel. He's just always cracking jokes, and he really's got a lot of zeb in him. And I hope that we can do that. I mean, he said a few Carabas up on. That was great when he said Carabas up on stage, and that's Aaron's word whenever we podcast. But I'm really hoping for that. I don't think it's just really, I think what it is expectations are lower. This is super high, just getting to see everybody, seeing you, Mary and Chaz, seeing Aaron, and just being here and being able to talk to all these people we want to talk to. So expectations lower, hope to see some stuff, enjoy these panels, just sit and relax and watch those. But really have gotten to interact with really everybody we want to. But I'm really hoping that can happen with Steve Bloom tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, I would love to see Steve, love to go to those panels. But you mentioned the floor too. We actually really have not walked the floor and looked.
That's right.
So that's one of our things tomorrow, is to walk around and look, because I've seen a couple people that I want to talk to. Alan Grimes, that we see in Lakeland all the time, is here, who does some great art stuff, has done some stuff for Topps art cards. Then the Brittany Art's here.
She's so good.
We stopped to talk to her for a minute, but like to really go back and talk to her some more, and then just explore the rest of Artist Alley, explore some of the shops, see what's there, go back through and get some good video footage of all the 501st stuff lining that wall, because that's just there's stuff there that I've been to Celebration, I've been to multiple Central Florida Comic Cons, I've been to MegaCon. Some of this stuff I've never seen before, and I really would like to get some nice footage to share with the Reactions family on socials and stuff. So that's really what we're looking for tomorrow. So
that's right.
That's where we're at. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. We got a long day tomorrow, and we will be back discussing day 2 soon.
Hello, this is Asajj Ventress. If I were you, I'd listen to Star Wars Reaction, or else you might get a little visit from moi.
All right, day 2 Ocala Comic Con is almost in the books. We're here had a great day. Me, David, Mary is with us again, and Chaz is here as well. Had a great day. Greg had to head out early this morning, so he's not with us, but we had a great day 1 with him. So let's talk about day 2. We saw a couple panels. We saw a couple people, talked to a couple people. Yeah, a pretty good day. David, kick it off, my friend. Tell me about your day.
Yeah, no, our goal was to get here early and get in line for Steve Bloom, and we did it. We got here, scooted around, second in line. Sorry, Mary. This is a whole thing, Mary. This is a whole thing. But it worked out really good. You want me to tell the story?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So we get up there, and Aaron is getting an autograph, right?
Yep. Got the autograph and selfie.
And so then I had my Star Wars Insider, which I gave a copy to Tia Surkar, gave a copy to Vanessa Marshall. This is all from 2015, a decade ago. And so we get up there and Aaron shows Steve the picture from 2014 of Star Wars Weekends, him and Aaron. And so Steve Bloom was immediately like, wow, you were there before Rebels even aired. And Aaron's like, yes, I was. And he was so thankful for that. Right as he was saying that, I had opened up my Star Wars Insider and I wanted to show him that, we were there at 14 and 15. And so he saw it in a picture of me and my kids with him doing the Zeb kind of growl and all that. Yeah. And so I said, would you like a copy of this? I didn't know. You never know. And he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, here's a copy. And he's like, he kind of welled up, remember? Right. Yeah. He kind of did this whole, like, really? He comes out from behind the table, gives me a big old bear hug, and then gives Aaron a big old bear hug, and then goes to do the selfie with Aaron. And then he says, well, wait, you got to come in after this. And so then we've got a wonderful picture of Aaron and I. Aaron's being basically attacked. You tell the rest because it's great.
Yeah, because when he brought you into the selfie, it was him on the side, me in the middle, and you on the other. And you and him have got your arms stretched out doing the Zeb thing. And I'm just kind of standing in the middle acting like I'm being mauled. Ah! Yeah. And then in all of his Zeb glory, he goes, say Choppa sucks. Which is the wrong person to say that to is me. And the best Zeb I could, I went, I can't. He's my favorite. to which Steve replied, but he's a war criminal. And I go, but that's why I love him.
This is a whole thing.
The whole thing. It was a great time there, and great encounter. Then of course we went and we saw we saw a gaming panel with Vanessa Marshall and
two other gamers,
Brianna Knickerbocker,
Xander Movis or something.
And
I know
Xander something.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know their games. I don't know their names. Yeah. It's not Star Wars related, so I failed. I apologize. I would go read a sign, but they just tore it down because they're packing stuff up. But we had a great time at that panel, and then we had roamed the floor a little bit, then went to the Nika Futterman panel and Q&A, and then the Steve Bloom Q&A, which was awesome. And now we're just back kind of roaming the floor, and we're actually standing here looking at Katie Sackhoff signing a last autograph as she's packing up, and Tate Fletcher over there playing on his phone because nobody's there. And, he had a few people there a few moments ago, and Manny Hasino's just packed up and left. But of course, our Rebels clan is still here. Tia and Tia and Taylor and Vanessa, and of course Steve Bloom still has 100 people.
Tonight.
Yeah, he is. They said last night he was here till 7.
I don't doubt that a bit because I stood in his line for 7 hours.
Mary, here, you take the microphone. Mary, this has been a whole thing. This is a whole. Aaron and I, we want to tease you, but we're not sure how much we should tease you about this.
This has been a thing, and it's not like I haven't stood in lines for celebrities in the last 20 years, anyway. And it was not Steve Bloom's fault. It was not his handler's fault. It wasn't really Ocala Comic Con's fault. It was Ocala Comic Con's Wi-Fi's fault. Yeah. They got backed up, cards weren't working, and they were being very diligent to make sure that when the card readers were reading the cards, that they weren't double charging people because it wasn't reading, then it was reading, then it wasn't reading again. And yes, and of course he had obligations. He had to go do the Rebels panel. He had to do photo ops. Yep. The poor man had to eat and go to the bathroom at some point because he was at that table nonstop all day. And it is still at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. It is still packed. But we did stand in line. It was a special autograph that we were doing for one of Chaz's best friends for as a gift, and it was worth standing in line for, although it was rough. Like it's rough, but we stood in line from 10:30 to 1:30. Did a little tag teaming a couple of times. Really until 3:00 we stood in line, and then they did let us go to the panel for Rebels, and we came back, and we finally talked to him and met him and got the autograph at 4:45. So from 10:30 to 4:45, I got to know a lot of people in the Steve Bloom line.
See, but as horrible as that coming to a con and being in line for that long is, you hit the nail on the head. You got to meet a lot of great people, and that's although I don't think I would have lasted as long as you did in the line.
Well, we tag teamed it.
That's right. Yeah, that's why y'all tag teamed it. But just having the opportunity to talk to me, like the guy we met this morning in Steve Bloom's line, David J. We met him this morning in the line,
right.
And he was just so excited he was getting to meet Steve Bloom. It was one of his bucket list items was to meet Steve Bloom before he left the earth. And the fact that he came to his hometown of Ocala just made it icing on the cake. And like when I texted you, said we were second in line, he was number one in line. And the only reason he was number one in line is because I stopped him from walking away. He was actually going to go roam around till they started, and I grabbed him. I'm like, no, don't do that. I said, this line was horrendous yesterday. I said, you go away, you will probably spend your entire day right here, and you don't want to do that.
Good advice.
So we kept him from taking the roaming mistake, but yeah, it was great, and seeing his face light up meeting Steve for the first time was just.
I was excited.
It was exciting
for him.
It was
really
very
fun.
exciting for him. So, we've been here both days. We've had a lot of fun. Let's talk about highlights. What has been your highlight of Ocala Comic Con 2025?
I think I said it last night, when we were recording with Greg, that I think maybe my highlight is seeing the interactions that you've had with all of the Rebels voice actors, Steve Bloom, Tia Serkar, Taylor Gray, right, and Vanessa Marshall.
Yeah.
They were just incredible. And it was a highlight for me, too, getting those copies of Star Wars Insider with them in it from 10 years ago. That was a real highlight for me, is spending time with all of them, the Rebels crew. And then, of course, even more important than all of that is seeing Mary and Chaz and Greg getting down, you being up here, all of you being here in Ocala, spending time with you guys. I just walking the show floor just now, but those are the biggest highlights. Time with all of you, and then time with the Rebels crew, which is really what this con was really a Rebels heavy, which is perfect for all of us.
Yes.
So, Mary, thoughts?
I agree with you. I mean, it's always good to be with friends, and you make friends, and we've always laughed that we all knew each other at some point before we knew each other at this point. But yeah, and I have learned over the years that cons have gone from, let's see how much we can do, let's see how many celebrities we can see, let's see how many this that we can do, to let's see how many interactions we can have that are real interactions, and be with friends and people that we don't see once a year, once every 2 years or whatever, and then get to know new people. We've talked, Chaz and I have talked to a number of the vendors this weekend that are local, that are either Ocala local or Orlando or Jacksonville local, and just were pleasant and wanted to talk with you. They didn't care whether you spent a dime. They wanted to just interact, which is always very good. So it's really nice. We've said it before. We've said it at Central Florida Comic Con. We've done that. We've said it here when we've done this a couple years ago. The smaller cons are where you can relax, have a good time, hopefully not stand in line for 7.5 hours, but at least, be able to interact with friends. And to top it off, we got to have dinner last night in a gorgeous setting here at the World Equestrian Center in Ocala. And, who can beat that? Yeah.
No, exactly right. It, you know, what's the beauty of the small con is that, and not necessarily how much can you do in the one day. It's the quality of the stuff you can do in the one day. Going to the panels, spending time with people you meet, meeting new people. If you get to get an autograph from a celebrity, that's icing on the cake. And this has been, I would say, with getting to spend time with all of y'all and Greg flying in and being with us yesterday has made this probably the greatest thing I've done since Star Wars weekends, honestly. Yeah. Even better than the celebration I was at.
Right.
I mean, because at least when I left the celebration, I left with a broken hand. So, yes. I'm still intact right now.
Yeah.
Knock on a hard floor. There's no wood around. Yeah. So, Mary's knocking on her head. But it has been a tremendous experience and a tremendous opportunity to just have fun. Walk, and I like what you said. You mentioned the vendors. We were talking to Alan Grimes, who's based out of Lakeland, that we see all the time at Central Florida Comic Con. We've seen him here, but he prolific artist. And then I'm trying to remember. I just blanked on her name. We were talking about where I got the Chopper sticker from.
Oh, I've got her card.
Proxima. Yeah.
I got her card.
Yeah, there it is.
What is the card? Proxima.
I don't know. I don't have reading glasses. Proxy Dreams Art.
There
we talked to her over there at Proxy Dreams Art, who's local here to Ocala. You talked to your local comic book broker. I was always a dealer, but
it's the Bearded Brown Coat. They're right on the marquee. Bearded Brown Coat Comics and Games. They support my local comic shop. Those guys.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to give a shout out to Dan and Corey. I've been texting them, sending them pictures all weekend. I told them that we've been thinking about them, and really a lot of how Rebels, started, and Aaron started, and I started, and Mary and all that. And so just wanted to say hi to both of them because they've been texting, and they were so happy that we're all together. Dan's like, look at all those guys. They're having such a good time. And so just shout out to Dan and Corey.
Absolutely. And, and I hear him yelling at the top of his lungs right now. Got to give cred to Patty. He just killed the stage this year, as he always does, and he just kept the flow going. Basically hosted fantastic panels.
Oh, great job!
He did a fantastic job. So hats off to him, and hopefully you'll be hearing from him on the show at some point because we'd love to pick his brain about his con experiences. But yeah, overall, fantastic con, Ocala Comic Con. Great job this year. Looking forward to next year.
Yeah,
I'm definitely looking forward to next year. We will have to go ahead and put it on the books for next year and plan on doing this again. Any final thoughts before we wrap up and call it a day?
I'm just thankful for our Star Wars family. Just as David and Aaron said, a lot of us got together, or most of us got together because of Coffee with Kenobi and Dan Zaire and Corey Clubb starting that, and Tom Gross being their wingman all these years. And so, without that found family, I know Chaz and I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that, we've been able to do. And it's been a joy and a pleasure to be able to share this time with all of them.
And I would say, just in terms of final thoughts, Mary nailed it. I'm so thankful for this time together. I'm so thankful you and Chaz got up here both days. Had some challenges earlier this morning on the Turnpike. Aaron and Mary and Chaz and myself have all dealt with the Florida Turnpike between Orlando and here quite a bit. So so thankful for that, and that Aaron got up for both days, Greg got down, and the Star Wars family, our found family, and just that we had such a great time here. So we really appreciate that. So
absolutely. So yeah, we have a great.
Oh my!
Oh, look at that!
That's amazing.
Look at that!
Thank you. David is receiving Nika Futterman's banner from her.
Oh my gosh.
From her autograph area.
Thank
That
you.
is amazing.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Hi, nice
You
to meet
scored
you.
it.
I'm just grabbing a couple of photos real quick.
Look at that.
I'll send them to Aaron and David, and maybe they can share them with everybody. That is amazing.
Look at there. Look at there. Look at there.
Look at
David's
you.
going home with the ultimate souvenir,
Look
the
at
Nika
that.
Futterman banner for official Ocala Comic Con banner, the one they had hanging over her over her table. Fantastic. We will have to definitely get some photos of David with that, which we'll share. But dude, how's that make you feel, man?
Oh, I was just trying to do final comments, and my guy Jeremy there, he remembers us from yesterday. He was one of the handlers for Nika. Really neat guy. He made it run so smooth, made it so fun. You need guys like that, you know, at all these guys did a great job, all these men and women. And that was super cool to get a little banner like this. So, yeah.
Hey, that's a 1 in a million souvenir, my friend. 1
Little
in a
pixie dust
million.
going on.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And I got a text while you were doing your final thoughts that Greg sent, which is why I started laughing. And he sent the text saying there's a Reactions Horse Capital sticker in the works at some point. If you don't know, that has been a running gag for me and David this weekend.
Fine, Greg, fine. This is the horse capital of the world, and you guys will ultimately see it, particularly when Aaron comes up here in October, November, December, January, and sees all the horses.
Really?
Oh, see?
I have yet to see a single horse since I've been here.
Not here.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm at the World.
Oh my God!
I am at the World Equestrian Center, and I have yet to see a horse. And I'm like I told him last night, I'm beginning to think this is just them pulling a University of Central Florida.
Gosh.
But no problem, man. I love you. But you know, make sure you wrapping things up. Make sure you check out. Give us a follow on all the socials. We'll be posting all the photos, all the videos and stuff that we've taken. SW Reactions Pod on Facebook and X, and of course SW Reactions everywhere else. Because I'm at a con and I'm tired. I'm not going to go through the whole list. I'm tired, but they're there.
Okay.
They're all there. You'll find the links in our show notes, and of course we'll have links to all of Rebel Base Card stuff since Greg was here with us yesterday in the show notes. And of course, we know where to find Mary as well.
That's right.
CWK Cafe, as always. So, and of course, you know, it's Central Florida Comic Earth.
Carabas! And he met Steve Bloom.
There it is. There's the Carabas. So, no, it is Ocala Comic Con last day. We're about to sign off. And, you know, it would be Central Florida Comic Con. And it wouldn't be Star Wars Reactions if I didn't at least try to end it with a dad joke. And y'all got a preview of this last night, so act surprised.
Okay.
So,
We'll just groan again.
You'll just groan again because
Right,
it's
Mary?
a groaner. So where do kyber crystals go when they have been bad?
We don't know, Aaron. Where do kyber crystals go when they've been bad?
Prism.
Oh. Groaner.
Oh, that's it. David, it's been a blast. Mary, it's been a blast. I'm so glad you and Chaz got to come up and hang out with us. It's been so much fun. Thank you, Ocala Comic Con. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Do something kind for somebody this week. Keep that kindness going. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions, elegant discussion for a more civilized age.